Hi everyone, this is Bill. I'm doing a video today for a customer looking at some ram lambs, and he wanted some commentary to go with them. And you're all welcome to watch and listen along if you'd like to see what I have to say about some of these rams and what they look like. This first ram right here, that would be a pink line. He was a quad, raised a triplet, nice growthy ram. His mom was open year 1, had twins year 2, triplets year 3, and quads year 4. So she's been a good productive ewe. The ram was one that I raised. He was born a twin, and the mother's track record has been open year 1, year 2 was twins, year 3 was twins, and year 4 was quads. So very productive on the dam side and sire side. Now his grandsire would have been Medicine Ridge, embryo transfer ram. When they're an embryo transfer, they don't show if he would have been like single, twin, whatever. I know that ram had a few more singles in his pedigree than what my other pedigrees do, but the ewes have been pretty productive, so that probably helps offsets. But he's a nice ram showing some potential there. The pink line tends to not express quite as thick a leg muscle, which you can kind of tell, but when you weigh them, they're every bit as heavy, if not heavier, so they're just a little bit different package. Very growth. And while we're talking about the pink, we'll hop over to this pink ram here. He's actually my favorite as far as looks, if you're looking just at looks and not pounds, because I'm going to guess that one's probably weighing more just looking at his depth of body. This guy's not quite his depth of body, but he's a fancier, put together ram. He was a triplet. That was a 5-year-old ewe he's out of, and her history has been twins, single, and then triplets. I kept his single sister last year, and she's one of the 6 that had twins for me this year, so I don't know what to think of that whole selecting based on numbers thing, but she's got one whale of a nice set of ewe lambs on her, being raised on pasture. I just vaccinated them this morning. I guess the only critique on him would be, and I don't know if I can get a shot, but he does have little bitty stub horns on his head. I'd have no idea if they'll hang on, fall off. Sometimes they get caught on bunk, whatever, but just want to make sure that you're aware of it. But otherwise, he's put together nice front to back. He's got more width up on the front end than like this other pink one does. That was the quad. So, not that you can eat looks, but he's the looker of the two. And we'll move on to the red. Same deal on the dad, of course. I already said that for the last one. So now we're moving on to the red. This red line was out of a ewe that at 21 months old she had quads, but one was stillborn. And then when they were about 2 to 3 weeks old, I remember that ewe ended up getting mastitis on me, so I had to supplement on bottles. But I kept her. Her bag stayed good, but it's lopsided. Last year she had a set of twins. And then this year she had triplets, but the middle born was stillborn. She's a little bit thicker made ewe. She was like in that 168 pound range, I believe, when I weighed them ewes, where the mother to them pink line sired rams, that mother was more like in that 183 range, if I remember right. So a little bit difference in size there. That's that more little compact package, not quite as stretched out, but expressing a bigger leg muscle. Still has the the thickness from front to rear. Probably not quite as strong a maternal trait on that one, but still a good solid ram there. And here we have a white line. That's out of a ewe that was raised by me. She was a Medicine Ridge sired out of that same embryo transfer ram. No, excuse me. She was an embryo transfer ewe, so a little bit different blood. That's right. Embryo transfer ewe, and then bred to 50H ram, which he is the sire to my green line. And then I took that ewe from that mating. She was single born, and crossed her with that big pink ram that was in my sharing video last year. So you can kind of see what a pink cross lamb turns out like. And I would say he's expressing more leg muscle and a little more thickness of body than the pink, so those pink cross up nice. And it was single born towards the end of February, so that's a younger one. Here we got a yellow line. So this yellow line is going to be completely different than anything we talked about so far as the ram side. So my yellow ram, he's my growthiest ram that I imported from Canada. So that's on the sire side, and I think he's got like a 250% lambing percentage in his 3-generation pedigree. So good drop numbers in there. He tends to have a little more stretched out lambs, very growthy, awesome looking Ile-De-France head and faces on them. Usually they'll get the wrinkles, but if you notice front to rear, he lacks a little bit in that rack area. They don't pop out quite as thick, but they still got pretty decent rump, but in a little more stretched up package. I've noticed in general they've had big testicles, so they're probably going to reach puberty well for you. The mother, she was out of one of those yellow ewes. She had twins when I had her. She had single the first year before I got her from Karen. And this ewe that sired this, or excuse me, was the dam to this ram, she had was open year 1 and then had twins this year. So I do have his sister over in the ewe lamb pen. So we're talking about some pretty young ewes that I can't give you a whole long history on them, unfortunately. But from what I can tell so far, these are all fairly prolific for the breed, what the breed standard is. This next ram here, he's out of a green line. He's got the nice thickness front to rear, and why I have it here, I'll show you the other green line. They both have that good thickness front to rear. If you want to compare it to yellow right next, you can see that they just, especially that one anyway, doesn't quite have that thickness front to rear like the green lines. The green lines have been very well received. They're out of that 50H ram, like I said. So back to this ram we were talking about. He's a twin. He's out of a ewe that had singles her first 2 lambings, but I don't know how much stock I'd put in that. I just know that he's a twin raised. His sister looks great. He looks great. Good testicle development. Out of everything in this pen, he'd probably be the one I would keep for myself. I guess I wouldn't let the single thing bother me too much if it was me, just because in the past, you know, just because I had a single doesn't mean that the genetics aren't there. Another thing you got to remember, the ram is half the genetics, and that ram that sired him, I think he's around like a 209% in his 3-generation pedigree, so the numbers are still there. I guess I don't have enough offspring of his to find out how they're going to test out. I only kept 3 back this year. They did all 3 lamb, but they did all have singles year 1. I think that's pretty common in this breed, is when they're young they just don't have as many lambs. But if you want some good thick sheep, another thing, you can see his body shape a little bit better than you could some of these other, especially those pink lines. They tend to grow a lot more wool, and these green lines tend to not on average really have as much wool. So that's him. And then this other one, this one's mother actually had twins year 1, and then she went single, but he's actually a March 1st lamb, so he's a little bit younger. Huge testicles on him for his age. Good growthy single. Pretty darn patterned like that last one I showed you. The only difference is he has a little bit more neck wrinkles. There again, on the lamb thing, I wouldn't be too worried about it, because obviously she had twins year 1, kind of wore herself out a little bit more than the average, then went single, where the other one was single, then twin. So there you go. They both end up the same amount of lambs. It's just one was working harder when they're young. But if I get behind them, like I said, and kind of show you down them, you can see that thickness front to rear like I like. Same with that white line. Same with that pink line. That's my favorite one. And then them other 2, that pink line is a little bit narrower, but not bad, and the yellow is quite a bit narrower. But there you go. You can see I got probably long-winded, but I just wanted to try to give you as many facts as I could. Hope that helps in your decision. Everyone else, if you stuck with me till the end, thanks for watching. There's me commentating the group of rams I raised. Have a good day. Bye for now.